tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down, the boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Welcome to the Farmers Union Insurance Road to Frisco Bison Football Pregame Show.
Hello and welcome into the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show, a special 90-minute edition here on Championship Saturday as we are getting you set for North Dakota State and James Madison in the FCS National Championship. Hello, everybody. Welcome into our Fargo studios. I'm Alex Egan, flying solo today, and you're probably wondering, why am I flying solo? Well, that's because we've got everybody down there in the Tailgate lot in Frisco, Texas. We'll be walking you right up to kickoff here, a special 90-minute presentation. At 11 a.m., we'll hand you off to ESPN2. Let's go and not waste any more time. Let's go down to Beth Hool, standing by with a few of her friends decked out in green and gold. Beth, how's it going down there?
Alex, it is fantastic in Frisco, Texas this year. The sun is shining. We aren't wearing winter coats, not to brag, North Dakota, but it is fantastic weather down here in Frisco, Texas. Joined by our crew, Brian Shawn, Lee Timmerman, and Ryan Gellner. We've been here all year long, bringing you guys what you need to know about Bison football to get you ready for this kickoff. It's no different this week. What are you guys looking for? Early thoughts on this one?
No! Excited, let's go! Waiting for this game for the last 3 weeks. I'm just excited it's here. It's the top two seeds. It's the best two teams, the best two defenses. Let's kick it off and see what happens.
For me, I didn't have anything to do last weekend, so I watched a lot of tape, probably too much tape, and the more I watched, the more confident I got. In fact, I'm almost spooky right now on how confident I am that the Bison are going to win today.
We were worried this place was going to be 50-50, 50% Bison fans, 50% JMU fans. It's all Bison fans.
We're showing you a really small sample of how full this tailgate lot is. Bison Nation showed up. Absolutely. I'm excited to see how the stadium turns out. I do have to say, we were interested. JMU fans said that they can tailgate. We've got some tailgaters over here.
Right there.
Some great guys, lots of people. We're live on TV, sir. Just a reminder. They showed up, guys. They showed up. They're out here. But no one, it reconfirms it, no one tailgates like Bison Nation. You just can't, honestly. Hats off to you guys. We thought we were going to be tested a little bit here in the tailgate lot, but we haven't been. And I don't think we're going to be tested quite like we initially thought on the football field either.
I mean, this goes for over a quarter mile that way yet?
It's full. They lined up. They're out here. Speaking of the tailgating situation, Mike Morgan, as always, with the hard gigs for us, out in the tailgate lot this morning, bright and early. He's found some guys. Mike, how's it looking?
All right, thank you so much. We're actually going to do Bison Tailgate Trivia in Texas. It's our first round ever here, and it's our first two contestants. I've got Josh and I've got Tony here, and Josh, you're going to be the first contestant in Texas. Are you nervous at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony, got a problem?
Don't mess it up, man.
Don't mess it
Just
up.
Don't mess it up.
All right, we're playing for gift certificates to the True Blue Social Club and the Lucky's 13 Pub. So here we go. Josh, you're first.
Okay.
The NDSU Bison won twice and lost twice in the Palm Bowl. That was the name for the NCAA National Championship game in the 1980s. In what city were they played? McAllen, Texas, or here in Frisco, Texas? Anybody want to help him out?
I'm going to go with McAllen.
McAllen, Texas. Do you think he's right?
Yeah.
He is correct. He is correct. Crowd goes wild here, mildly. Josh, you win a $50 gift card thanks to the True Blue Social Club. Way to go. He did it.
He did it.
Yep. Nobody's messed up ever in Texas. Here we go. From 1998 to 2003, this Bison running back rushed for 4,696 yards. Was it Lamar Gordon or Gordon Lightfoot?
Well, there's no doubt that Gordon Lightfoot is pretty awesome. In fact, I heard JMU listens to him all the time in the locker room. But I'm going to go with Lamar Gordon.
Lamar Gordon, do you think he's correct? That is correct. He wins. Way to go, Tony. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how do you know what goes on in that locker room? No asking. We don't need to know. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. We've got more trivia coming up as our pregame show continues from Frisco.
Let's go, Bison!
All right, thank you very much, Mike. The Bison have arrived at Toyota Stadium, just like many of their fans, getting you set for Bison football. We'll step aside. We come back. We're going to hear from a couple former players from the Bison squad. That's all still to come here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show. Welcome back to the pregame show. You know, one of the neat things the Bison do during their time in Frisco is have former players stop by Friday's practice and address the team. Our own Ryan Gellner caught up with one of those Bison alums in our Once a Bison segment sponsored by Proceed.
Our road to Frisco continues on, and we happen to be in Frisco with Mark Spurl, Hall of Famer from the 70s into 1980. And man, what you guys started, and even before then, it continues on here in Frisco, and that's really cool.
It is really cool. You know, it started really back in the mid-'60s, early 60s, and it's just kind of propagated through the generations, through the eras, the decades, and it's really cool. It's fun to come back here and you see guys from all different decades that are still hanging around, or guys that come back to see what's going on. And I mean, I've heard numbers from 175 to 250 former players here today. I don't know what the actual number will be. Maybe nobody will, but it's a lot of fun to come back here.
Chris Klieman, the head coach now, always talks about play for the guy next to you, but play for the guy that was here before you as well. That's pretty special, I would assume, to you.
It really is, you know, because when you're playing, you know, you don't think about that so much. Even, you know, back when I was in the late 70s, you don't really think about those guys so much, because you're in the time. You're playing at that time. That's your time. But then as you get out of it, you see that. You see it more and more that, yeah, you kind of did have some footprints in the sand for the guys that come after you, and it's pretty cool to reflect back on that.
It's gotten so big now that NDSU is in this FCS world. Every year you've been here, they've won. They try to win another one today. That's unbelievable.
It really is. You don't. It's unprecedented to see a team in the final championship game of any level, whether it's Division III, II, NAI, anything, 6 out of 7 years, and to win at 5. We'll see what happens yet today on number 7, you know, or number 6. It's just hard to really imagine and really get your hands around, get your head around it.
You know this as well as anybody, so I'll let you say it. Once a Bison,
always a Bison.
Thanks,
Go
man.
Bison.
Welcome back out to the tailgate lot here in Frisco, Texas. Joined by a few more former Bison football players here. Thank you guys all for joining us. We just came out talking about a little bit about all the alumni that get together. This is your guys' first time being able to be a part of yesterday's moment. What was that like?
That was special. It's super cool. I think there was over 250 alumni out there, meeting with the team, and we obviously got to do that a couple years ago, so we've experienced that. It's really cool from a player's standpoint, but then you come back as an alumni, it's a really special thing. I don't think a lot of teams have that in the country.
I think it's definitely special, just over a period of time, the great players from all the years, come back and really show love to us and show that they really support us and continue the legacy that they started for us as well.
Yeah, it's always fun to see the former players, especially those who are in the NFL. You don't get to see a lot, like Kyle Emanuel and Billy Turner. John Crockett's always there doing his own thing. John's doing whatever he does. But no, it's always fun.
Yeah, John joined us yesterday at the Pet Fest. That was special. Really great to see
John's
him.
a little extra at some points, but he's a good guy.
Sorry, MJ, your thoughts on yesterday? Yeah, like Jay said, it's a little different seeing it on the outside in this time around, but nothing changes. It's still a special moment, but like I said, it's a little different. And there's a lot of old faces you get to see, and it's a little more special coming this time around.
Well, for better or worse, you guys have maybe the best perspective this week on the opponent, having played James Madison last year. Hate to bring up bad memories, but how do you guys feel? Are you glad? Are you amped for this game extra because of the revenge factor?
Yeah, I can't wait to get in there and watch it. I know I've been talking with the players, and they're just amped up, ready to play. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, this team's for them, but it's going to be fun watching those guys kind of play for us a little bit last year, too. You know, obviously we gave it everything we had and, you know, gave them our best shot, and just wasn't enough last year. So it's going to be, you know, fun getting another shot at them this year.
I was definitely amped up. Like, even on the field with the guys warming up and talking pregame, I felt like I was about to play too. God, I can't throw the pass anymore. But it's like...
Well, Pierre, you played hurt last year.
Yeah.
And now I feel comfortable asking you, how hurt were you? Should you have been out there?
You know, I was good enough to play, but I wasn't good enough to go above and beyond like I usually do. I was good enough to do my job, and only that. But I was definitely glad I was able to play my last game with my teammates and give my all still.
Well, I would say, too, that we rewatched the game the other day, and because Pierre couldn't go full speed, MJ was trying to probably play 3 different positions at once. It seemed like they asked you to try to do some different things last year, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely played some different things, but I know, like I said, we didn't give them our best shot. We gave them a lot of things. No disrespect to them. They know how to finish games. They did really well, but we gave them a lot of free plays. Even myself didn't play my best game, and that's the worst thing about it. I can't get that game back. But that's the thing I'm most excited about today for these guys. They get another shot, and I'm really excited for them. I mean, Nick and Tangway and guys like that, and even Jabril, guy, you guys know how stepped up and played really well. They get a shot today, and I'm more than confident that I think we're going to have a good day. And, you know, defensive, offensive side of the ball.
It's funny, Brad, when you walked out and saw this helmet, you were like, hold on a second. I don't want this thing here. They ruined my senior year, so Ryan Short better watch out today because Nate Tangway's coming for blood. I can tell you that right now.
So what's it like as you guys are looking at this matchup? From what you've heard from the guys, how confident are they, as you two know probably better than anyone, helping out with the team this year?
Very confident. You know, we feel like we play with anybody. And if we play the way we're supposed to, I don't think we can be beat, honestly.
Not only the confidence, but the prep level we've had over the past 3 weeks has been phenomenal. The guys are focused, locked in, they're ready to play today. I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be awesome to witness.
Well, we really appreciate you guys joining us out here. Always great to catch up with you guys. Fun for everybody back home to get to see you guys. Right now, we're going to toss it over to Brian Shawn, who's joined with Mike Kern from the Missouri Valley Football Conference.
All right, Mike Kern here with the Missouri Valley Football Conference, Associate Commissioner, joining us here on the pregame show. And Mike, another trip to Frisco. You got to come last year, too, because Youngstown was here, but 7th straight year, 6th time for North Dakota State. Pretty special.
This is phenomenal, and Frisco does it right. It's become like a bowl game experience. It really has. It's different than it used to be when you'd have the semifinals, you play the next week. A 3-week gap is excellent for FCS football.
And what do you think? North Dakota State, come out in full force. This is what it's all about. I know the Valley takes a lot of pride in this program.
We do, and we have a bunch of great teams. We had 7 playoff caliber teams, I thought. Of course, we got the 5 that we got in, but I think we're going to have this happen today. We're going to get another one for the thumb. We're going to go 6, yeah.
Revenge of the 6 is what I've heard.
Yes.
We did have a couple other players here, part of the Peyton Award banquet yesterday with Chris Stredler getting second in the voting. Jake Wenicky was honored with Scholar Athlete Award, so it was kind of cool to see that as well.
Yeah, we were at the Stats does a great job for the FCS subdivision throughout the year. They have a banquet, an awards banquet the night before, which is last night. Brett Taylor was also there. He was runner-up in the Buck Buchanan Award. So we had 3 tables represented and plus our conference table. We had 40 people there. It was great.
All right, Mike, thanks so much for joining us as always. Enjoy the festivities.
Great, thank you. Go Bison.
All right, the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show rolls on after this from Frisco.
Bison football pregame show out here in Frisco, Texas, joined by Ben LeCompte. Ben, fill everybody in. How you been? What's going on?
I'm doing great. Settled down in Fargo. Things are good, guys. You know, missed football quite a bit, but couldn't be happier with where I'm at. So.
Now, you can't be on social media and not see. You've still got a leg, man. You're still active.
Yep. I still, you know, it's interesting because I do it for fun now. You know, there's no pressure on it or anything like that. So I really enjoy it. I'll go out and hit some footballs with the guys at practice sometimes and just have fun with it. So, yeah.
And how have you been able to help the guys maybe even?
You know, I try to help Jackson with the experience I've had, you know, playing in 5 of these games, and you know, I just try to give him tips and pointers, calm him down. You know, it's normal to have nerves, so give him any type of advice I think that could settle his nerves and make him perform as well as he can today.
As far as on the field terms, I think it's always interesting for special teams players because everybody expects everything to go well, and most of the time, you guys only get noticed when it doesn't. What's that dynamic like to be in a position of importance on the football field like that?
There's an old saying, specialist, you're the hero or you're the zero. One or the other. So a lot of the time you're the hero, and sometimes, you know, you don't make a great play, but that's what I loved about NDSU and the Bison was that it was like such a tight-knit family. People respected special teams. They knew how important special teams was to the game. And when you performed, they were there for you. And when you didn't, you know, they picked you up. So,
you know, maybe more better than anyone, you can talk about how important special teams is to the game, though, especially in something like this. We've had big moments of special teams.
Yeah, you know, when you played in a conference like the Missouri Valley with such great football, special teams is always a deciding factor. And you know, when you can have the type of special teams like NDSU does, you know, credit Nick Gazer, Atif Austin, all those guys who put in all the time to make the special teams what they are. It shows up on Saturdays. And like you said, in a game today, special teams is going to be huge. You flip the field, returns. So when you get in a national championship game, everything's got to be on point.
Well, you can tell we've found some
We've
more.
grown a little bit
grown.
here. I'll let Trevor Gebhardt sit down
come on
here.
in.
And special teams talk. I kind of feel out of place with all the special teams. You got 2 punters. I only played punt defense, so I don't know.
Well, then
sling one out there.
Well, then let's keep talking over here. Let's bring in John. John Prell, let's just talk a little bit, John, about you know, your time with the Bison, what it's like to be here this week.
Yeah, obviously it's a great week. A lot of history. You know, this is the 6th trip, and it's been fun to watch, really. My year in 2010, you know, when we kind of, I call it laid the foundation for these guys, and they finished it off, obviously. But no, it's been awesome. You know, seeing Bison Nation out strong. I mean, you look around and it's unreal, and the players doing their part. So it's a pretty cool thing.
I mean, I don't know if you are on Twitter, if you're on Facebook at all, but I don't think there's anybody maybe more active with the analysis than these 2 young men right here, Ben LeComte and Trevor Gebhardt. You guys have a lot of opinions, but they're good opinions. You're coming for my job.
Well, Beth, I was the 2017 Trevor Gebhardt Tweeter of the Year, so.
That is true. That is true.
Year 7 of the award, and Ben's been in the running for about 3 years now. He fell short 2 years ago. He did have the lead in the last month, and he fell. He didn't know that, but he does now. This year he finally brought it home.
Do you get an extra ring for that, though?
I don't know. What's the award?
You get your name on a plaque.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. See, I haven't with the move. I haven't had time to get that etched, so I had to kind of like Photoshop it. So
that's right. Yeah, you guys both got married this year. Trevor moving down south. But what do you make of this game? What do you like? What do you think the Bison have to do to win this one?
Every little thing right, and then capitalize on a big opportunity when it presents itself. You go back and look at the James Madison game against Weber State. Weber State had a chance to close out the game with a pick late in the 4th quarter, and they didn't capitalize on that. When that opportunity presents itself, you have to jump on it, and one of the teams is going to have that chance. It's just a matter of who does.
You got anything on it?
Yeah, you know, I just, like Trevor said, you really got to, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's in this game. This is one of those games where every little thing is going to matter. Every mistake is going to be very huge in the game, and it's whoever limits that mistake and then deals with it the best, I think, is going to win.
John, what's your opinion in terms of you got the 2 best teams in the country playing this week today?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. You know, today is going to be a great day, and I think it's going to be a showcase for NDSU Smash Mouth football. You know, we're going to have to be physical with these guys and wear them out on the run. And Trevor said it best, take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. But I think if we just stay true to what we're good at, and that's just playing good, sound, disciplined football, I think it'll be a good game.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys joining us. After this, we're going to be back with more for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
All right, we're back out here in the tailgate section next to Toyota Stadium, and I've got 2 new contestants, and one is from Lansford, North Dakota. What's the mascot for Lansford?
The Cubs.
And from Donnybrook, North Dakota. They don't have a high school anymore, but they were the
Highliners.
Donnybrook Highliners. So we've got Austin and we've got Dave. You guys ready to play?
We're ready.
Yep. All right, here we go. We're playing for gift certificates. We're going to go first with Austin. Ready?
Yep.
How many times has an NDSU football game been canceled and not made up? Is it 3 or 26? 3 or 26? Any help? No help from the crowd.
There's not much help.
Okay.
3.
3 is correct. 3 is correct. Believe it or not, 2 of them were canceled due to snow. One was canceled 9/15 of 2001 against Maine because of the 9/11 attacks. Wow. Austin, you win a $50 gift card to the Lucky's 13 bar. Way to go, way to go. All right, here we go. This is for the Highliners. According to Google, if you head south on I-29 from Fargo to Frisco, how many miles do you cover? Is it 1,073 or 3,028?
You know, I Googled this, so it's 1,073.
1,073 is correct. You Googled it. That's pretty quick. You win a True Blue Social Club gift card for $50.
Hey, is this for 1 or 2?
Well, you can spend it any way you want. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Way to go, Class B. Yeah, Class B. All right. Way to go, and go Bison as well. Go Bison. All right. Our trivia will continue as our tailgate program continues as well.
Bison by 20. What do you say, guys?
Bison by 20, he says. All right, Mike is a man of the people, and he's been a man about Frisco as well. He got a chance to do some pretty cool things throughout our time down there in Frisco. Let's go back out to the tailgate lot. Mike Morkin joins us again. Mike, you got a chance to go check out the Dallas Cowboys' new facility.
Thank you so much, Alex. And yeah, a lot of things to see and do. The one thing that's always a constant when you come to Frisco, Texas, is that there is something either being built or just been built. And one of the star attractions is just that, the Star. It is the new Dallas Cowboys practice facility, which is much more than just that. Wade Jerry Jones and the Cowboy organization put this all together. It's a destination. It's not just a facility where they have the headquarters for one of the premier franchises in sports today. It's also a spot where people can come and enjoy a restaurant experience. They can stay at a hotel, the Omni. They've got medical facilities that are there. There's just everything, and it is state of the art. I mean, I can tell you that when we took our tour, we had the opportunity to go through there, and they've got all kinds of practice fields. They've got AstroTurf, they've got grass, they've got indoor turf, and it is a facility that you will take note, certainly, as to what is happening with NFL stated today. We were told that the Minnesota Vikings are, in fact, checking into how that facility was made, also the Chargers as well as the Rams. So there's definitely something that you can see there. We're glad that we had the opportunity to check it out, and it was a phenomenal thing. What do you know about North Dakota State and his chances against James Madison?
I know nothing about North Dakota State, but I just know James Madison is going to take home the trophy.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
That was our surprise. If you didn't recognize who that was, it was Charles Haley, a Hall of Famer and also a former Dallas Cowboy, former San Francisco 49er. When we ran into him, I didn't have the opportunity to know that he was from James Madison. Yeah, he's a Duke graduate, so obviously he's pitching for JM. So that's it for this segment. Let's toss it back over to Beth and more player roundtable. Beth?
Here we go.
Hey, thanks so much, Mike. We're joined by a whole handful of more Bison alumni. Zach Johnson, Joe Haig, Luke Albers. Change the name on me.
Change it to Luke. Had to grow up a little bit, get professional.
He's all grown up, Beth.
All grown up. You guys are all grown up. It's so great to see you guys, though. Zach, this is your first time getting to experience the tailgating side of Frisco. How's it treating you?
It's pretty fun. Get to come out here, get to see a bunch of guys that I haven't seen for a while. I haven't seen Joe for a while. I haven't seen Albert, so I get to see him every weekend almost. But, it's good. It's nice to see all these people that come down. You really get to see how many people are actually out here and come to support us. It's really fun to see this.
You're right. We don't get to see Joe Haig very much unless you're watching TV on Sundays. How's the NFL treating you, young man?
It's good. It's good. It's
I'm able to play football still, and that's awesome. And I'm just trying to embrace it and have as much fun with it as I can.
Yeah, Albers, just looking at this matchup, what stands out to you about James Madison? What do the Bison have to do to kind of get an edge in this one?
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. It's two teams that can play good defense, can run the ball, can hit a lot of play action passes there. I think a big thing last year was when they met, NDSU was a little beat up, and this year we're healthy. And I think that's going to play a big in the outcome of this game. So
yeah, I think it's going to make a huge difference. And a big part that we've all talked about has been the tight ends.
Tight ends.
Very, very versatile in the offense. It's going to be a big thing to do, yeah.
And if linebackers are the weak point, tight ends' eyes would line up. And the weak point in the national championship, come on.
Yeah.
The weakest of a very good defense is the linebackers. Tight ends light up on that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once you can expose that matchup there and take advantage of that, it's going to be good.
I mean, I've always said that we might as well just have, 5 tight ends on the ball instead of, 5 offensive linemen. I mean, they're just obviously the better group.
And everything, so
we're athletic,
we're better
do
at
whatever
that
we want.
anyway.
Look at these guys go.
I'm always picking up his blocks anyway when we play.
Yeah, exactly. So. I mean, I don't even know I'm out there. I might as well just lay on the ground and, just drink some water.
All right, well, Gunnar, I think you've got something for us here.
Thank you all. We really do appreciate it. Time now to roll on with the herd and go to our Herd Line News segment. Linebacker Nick DeLuca, offensive lineman Austin Kunert, and long snapper James Fisher were all named Stats FCS All-American First Team members. DeLuca is NDSU's second leading tackler despite missing 2 games. He has 70 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, and a team-high 5.5 sacks. Kunert has started 50 games and played 54 of a possible 59 games over his career at 3 different positions. He led the Bison with an 86% technique grade. And then James Fisher, he's been NDSU's long snapper in 59 straight games over the past 4 years. Safety Robbie Grimsley was named a second-team selection. Speaking of safety, free safety Trey Dempsey was named the Walter Camp FCS All-American this week. Dempsey led the Missouri Valley Conference with 6 sacks, or rather 6 interceptions, that is, and has 4 pass breakups. Strong safety Robbie Grimsley, quarterback Easton Stick, they were both named the 2017 FCS Athletic Directors Association Academic All-Americans. Grimsley has a 3.56 in the classroom and Stick a 3.91. Yesterday, wide receiver Daniel Polanski won the NCAA Elite 90 Award, which is presented to the student athlete with the highest grade point average at all of the 90s championships, all of the 90 championships the NCAA sponsors. And how about this? What's interesting is that 20 North Dakota State University Bison football players had a 4.0 grade point average this year. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable what some of these former Bison are doing. It's always fun to catch up. Let's go to our final Once a Bison segment. Our road to Frisco continues on with Once a Bison, Always a Bison, brought to you by Proceed, our final edition of Once a Bison. And we catch up with a guy who was an All-American in 2016 on the 3rd team, but missed out on a chance to play for a national championship your senior season. Let's start there because this year's team gets that chance. How much do you think they were driven by not getting there last year?
Oh, absolutely. Well, just some small things, even as far as we played in that game. Even myself, there's a lot of things we missed out on and we gave to them and, allowed them to put some extra points on the board. We made it hard for our offense to get back on the field. And just small things like Nate and Nick not getting to play, that drove them nuts. And I know that they were really itching to get back. And, the whole way through, they were hoping to play this team. So, really looking forward to what they can do tomorrow.
A local kid from Harvey, North Dakota, getting a chance to play for the Bison, win all those national championships, and getting to see this side of it as a fan. You put this into words?
It's really cool to see it from, the other way around. It's kind of unbelievable how many people you see down here walking around, all the green and gold, everyone's wearing their stuff. You just get to see a little different perspective on it. I wish I was on the inside out, but this is a pretty cool deal, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning and into the game.
Football is now a thing of your past, which I'm sure is hard to rack your brain around. You've been doing it for so long. Catch us up with what you're doing now and what you want to be doing in the near future.
I spent a few months in Bismarck working with the Game and Fish. I at least wanted to get my foot in the door, and it allowed me to spend a little bit more time with my family. And now I'm back in Fargo. I did landscaping for 4 years while I was in college, working in the summers there. So I'm spending a little time with Accelerated Greenworks. I'm working over the winter there, and just kind of transitioning into a different type of construction job that I'm looking into. So, there's a lot of former players and guys in the BFPA that are helping out and stuff, and guys you can talk to, and getting to know different people that know other people. So kind of transitioning to a different line of work here. So I'd like to get back into construction. So we'll see what happens here in the future.
You're seeing how big for the first time this Bison family is. Is that hard to put into words once you see the former players, all these fans, really for the first time for you?
Yeah, I've been able to be a part of these gatherings, especially after the practice, like they'll have today with the former players and stuff. And I'm guessing that it's going to be just as big as it's ever been today. But just seeing the gathering, like I said, not being on the practice field or in the locker room and stuff, and seeing all the people here now, it's really impressive, and it's pretty amazing. All the people that you get to see make it down. So. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to catch up with some old people here. So
you have a good understanding of what this phrase is. I'll start it, you finish it. Once a Bison.
Always a Bison.
Thanks, MJ.
Thanks for having me.
And welcome back to the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. This is the international portion of our pregame show because we have the Joneses. I know we call Stanley being from Bismarck. He did graduate from Bismarck High, but this is Jared and Clara, Stan's parents, all the way from Mexico. Welcome.
Thank you. It's very good to be here.
All right, get us the basis. How's Mexico home for you guys?
Well, our family, our heritage goes back to 1892 in Mexico, so it is truly home. But we feel very blessed and fortunate because when we're on this side, I feel as American as pecan pie and barbecue brisket. But when I'm in Mexico, I feel as Mexican as tacos and guacamole, so we get to really enjoy both sides of both parts of this world, and Mexico's an awesome place. We have our challenges down there with the stories you guys hear about, but really we live a really good life, and it's a nice place to live. But North Dakota is just an amazing place. My wife and I fell in love with it. We really appreciate all of the. It's cool.
Well, I'll just do this. And pecan, you said pecan
yes,
in there.
Pecan
now
pie.
Explain that's what you guys do, don't you?
Well, pecan is native to southern United States and northern Mexico. So yes, we grow pecans down there. Our family grows peaches and apples, and so we're like the Americanized Mexicans down there or something that way.
I know not everyone behind me has the last name of Jones. There's some Schultzes right behind you, and Stan has some Bismarck parents.
Yeah.
And when you guys decided to go back to Mexico, you needed to give your son to somebody. You gave them to him. So what did the Schultzes do for you guys and your family and Stan?
Well, we went to the same church, and we got to know the Schultzes. Steve hit it off very, very well with Stanley, and I'm kind of jealous, but he became like a second dad, So, anyways, they've done a great job. We had to move to Mexico on his senior year. My wife moved into an apartment. We stayed through the football season, and then the rest of the year, Stan moved in with the Schultz, and they took him in, and we've been just one big family ever since. So it's been awesome.
It was a long drive from Mexico to get here to Frisco. I'm glad you guys made it. The Joneses have one thing they want to say right before we all go, so it's 1, 2, 3.
Viva Bison! Yeah!
Beth, over to you.
Gosh, that's fantastic. Great to see the Jones family all the way here, coming up from Mexico. That's what this is all about, though. Everybody getting together. We've got a lovely big group here gathered around. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. How's Frisco been treating you?
It's really good. I'm just glad to be back here and see all my brothers again. I was saying it all day yesterday, just blessed to be back here once again. watching our boys play in the national championship, and then to see all these guys here in one place, it's really unbelievable. I'm really thankful to be here.
Now, you might not recognize him. This is Christian Dudzik, and he's not wearing any green or gold. I have been burned by Bison fans for wearing my station clothing that's not green. Look at you.
I'm all NDSU today. My cousin got me a ticket, so I had to respect him. He's the coach for James Madison, but I'm all NDSU. I hope that my brothers win today. Hey, I've been saying he's my cousin, but those are my brothers.
Damn you! What? You're letting him get away with this?
Jamboo!
Kyle, you were busting him up pretty good, though. He should be in some green.
Yeah, I had to, and I get it. I shared the story of my brother. He did the same thing when he played Iowa State, so I get it. But I know Christian bleeds green and gold. I'll defend him a little bit. All right, he'll be cheering for us. I know it.
Zach Vraw is here as well. Brian?
Yeah, I tell you what, Zach, we were just catching up a little bit. It's crazy how life moves on for you guys. I'm guessing it's got to be a lot different coming down here as a former player, not a player. You can actually enjoy yourself a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely. After playing for 6 years and finally coming down here, hearing stories from these guys of how fun it is, and after sitting in meetings and going through meals and everything, now I can finally come to Tailgate and go to the bars, see the whole scene, and it's crazy to see how many of the Fargo fans come down here to support us.
I had to make sure you were actually out of eligibility and weren't back for like a 9th year, because I feel like you've been playing since about 2010.
I tried to pull some more strings and get like 6, 7, 8 years, but 6 was as far as I could go.
Bionic collarbone man, Zach Vraw.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been talking about how important the tight ends will be in this game today. Have you talked to some of these guys, Jedry? How amped are they for this game?
I think they're ready to play. It's just like another game to them. The weather's
I don't want to hear that. It's not just another game.
No, it is.
You're not a player anymore. Quit being such a...
It is just another game, but it is the highest stage possible. And I know they're completely amped. They're ready to go. Jeff, it's his last game as a tight end. I think they're just ready to play, and they're going to have a good day.
Yeah, I feel like a tight end is a position that doesn't get a love everywhere in the football world, but the Bison certainly do, and I think they're due for a big game in this one.
Big-time defensive game in this one. For a defensive guy in 15 seconds, this is a big deal for both teams.
15 seconds. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I talked about it yesterday. I think the defense is always the key, especially for NDSU getting off the field, wearing their defense out, running the ball. That's always going to be key, and that's what I'll be looking for early on.
Well, we really, really appreciate you guys all making the time to join us out here in the tailgate lot. Mike Morgan has been out and about getting to hang out with some of the Bison fans. He joins us now.
All right, we're back here in the tailgate section for another Bison tailgate trivia. We've had contestants on, all were male, so we thought we'd spice things up with some female. All right, that? We've got Trisha and we've got Maggie. Ladies, nobody has gotten it wrong here in Texas so far. Nobody has gotten it wrong in North Dakota so far, so the pressure's really on. You ready? Trisha, we'll start with you. Who is the longest tenured head coach in Bison football history? Is it C.C. Finnegan or C.C. Revival?
C.C. Finnegan.
C.C. Finnegan. Are you guys confident that's right? They don't really sound all that confident, but they should be, because that is the correct answer. 13 seasons from 1928 to 1940, but of course, you already knew that.
Yep.
You already knew that.
Yep.
And because of that vast knowledge, you win yourself a $50 gift card to the True Blue Social Club. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
All right, Maggie. Nobody wants anyone to get it wrong. All right? Who is the NDSU Bison quarterbacks coach? Is it Randy Hedberg or Vern Gagne?
Randy Hedberg.
You know who Vern Gagne is?
Yeah, the wrestler, yeah.
The wrestler, Vern Gagne. Randy Hedberg is correct. Maggie, you win a $50 gift card to the Lucky's 13 Pub.
Awesome,
Do you know who Vern Gagne is?
No.
I'll let him tell a few stories, but thank you so much. All right. We've had fun here so far playing, and there's a lot more to come as we continue with our pregame show from Frisco, Texas.
Still so much more to come. Thank you very much, Mike. We will continue on here with the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show, a national championship edition. Stay with us.
to Frisco, Texas. Our pregame show continues as the NDSU Bison football team prepares for another national championship game. One of the team's youngest fans is in the fight of his life. 10-year-old Landon Solberg is a diehard NDSU fan who is in need of support from the Bison faithful to help him beat the odds that are stacked up against him. Our Valley News Live's Lisa Bedeau has the story.
Hi, Landon. It's Darius Shepard with the Bison football team. We want to put this message together to let you know we're thinking about you.
The strength of the herd is behind 10-year-old Landon Solberg.
Made me feel really good.
The Bison football team sent Landon this video message, hoping to boost his spirits.
It's been such a good outlet for Landon.
Bison Nation has put its arms around the Solberg family just when they needed it most.
It's turned our worlds upside down. It really has.
While Landon looks healthy, doctors found swelling and fluid around his brain after he complained of severe headaches. A shunt was put in to relieve pressure.
Well, the doctors are confusing a lot of times. Sometimes I don't even know what they say. They'll say a big fancy word and I don't even know what it means.
Doctors in Fargo believe Landon has an aggressive brain tumor. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic agree. Both say there is a small chance it is something else. A small chance. But for now, the Solbergs have to wait. The swelling needs to go down so doctors can do a biopsy. Then they'll know for sure.
And they told us 1 to 2 years. And we're not willing to accept that yet. And so I don't think it's fair to tell Landon that prognosis. We have told him that this is serious. The doctors think it's cancer and that we will move forward with treatment. But I don't think at any time I can tell Landon or my other 2 children the statistics, because statistics are wrong every day and miracles happen every day. And that's the mindset he has, and I don't want to change that.
You know, I'm not naive to the fact that our time comes at some point for everybody. It's just when you're looking at a 10-year-old, you don't think it's going to be anytime soon, especially when you got a kid who's smart, he's well-liked, he's nice to everybody. Like Andrea said, he's got joy in life and everything he does. It's hard to think that something it's going to come to an end early for him is the hard part for me.
Life hasn't always been easy for the Solbergs. Their youngest was born early, weighing just 2.5 pounds.
We had challenges with we have a 1-year-old boy, and my water broke at 25 weeks, and he was born at 29 weeks. And so we say we have 1 miracle boy, we're just going to have 2.
So the fight is on.
I can't let my mind go there yet. I'm not willing to think that short term yet. Just again, because he looks so strong and determined. And I had a good friend that said, you know what, you just gotta live in the day, because life is fragile and you never know what tomorrow is gonna bring. So that's what I'm trying to do, because it's heart-wrenching if you try to reach into the future and think that he potentially won't be here.
But they have a little extra muscle for this battle.
Landon, this is Nick DeLuca. We just want to let you know that as tough as we are, we think you're even tougher.
Like a friend of ours had posted, if Nick DeLuca says you're tough, you're tough. So that was some good motivation for Landon and for us as parents.
The waiting game has been made a bit easier as Landon has been invited to both NDSU basketball and football practices. And it clearly is very good medicine for this 4th grader.
That was fun because we got to go in there and put our hands in the huddle.
And Bison Nation is huddled up, ready to help Landon win the battle in front of him.
The Bison football team is proud to be on Team Landon. Take care, buddy.
Lisa Bedeau joins us now. Touching story.
Oh, it really is. And now is the time, really, for the prayer warriors from Bison Nation to help out this family. You may have noticed the Landon's Light t-shirts that the family was wearing. Those were actually part of a fundraiser that friends did for the family. People can still buy those. I've added links to their Facebook page, their GoFundMe page, and also his Caring Bridge page to follow Landon's story. That's all at valleynewslive.com. Of course, it's about a week and a half until they are able to do the biopsy, and maybe they'll know more answers then, but such an emotional story. Landon's the same age as my oldest daughter, and as a parent, it's just, you just
want to hug them and just do anything that you can for the family.
And this is a great way of getting that jump started
Yes.
by the story you shared. Thanks so much. And thanks for coming to Frisco.
Yes, go Bison.
You bet.
We're a big family, so this is the time we all need to stick together, have fun in the good times and the bad.
Lisa Bedeau from Valley News Live. Time to go to Brian Sean with more as our pregame show continues. Brian?
All right, thanks. Here with Quint Kucinich, who'll be roaming the sidelines here for the FCS National Championship broadcast on ESPN2. And Quint, I know you've dug into this matchup a little bit. Two teams that like to take away the run and run the football. Should be interesting how both teams kind of want to do the same thing.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities in these two teams. You start at the top, from the coach, from the culture of winning, from the team mentality, and then you look at styles of play. There's more similarities than differences. I think both quarterbacks are very similar in the way they attack. Each team has a great running back in Bruce Anderson and Marcus Marshall. The receiving cores, maybe a little more speed to JMU, but I think the tight end position is definitely an area of advantage for North Dakota State. So it's in my eyes, it's a pick'em game, and the weather's going to be great. The fans are going to turn out. This is my third championship here, and I got to tell you, of all the games on my schedule, this is one I point to. You got to be there.
What do you think that the biggest factor is going to be in this game? Is it up front on the line of scrimmage? Is it the fact that JMU likes to play man-to-man coverage? There's a lot of different things to look at.
Yes, those are both valid points, because last year in the semifinals, I thought JMU did a great job playing press man coverage on the outside, committing an extra safety to the box, and kind of grinding North Dakota State's run game to a halt, okay? Can they do that again this year? I've got questions about JMU's defense in the last 2 weeks, though. They've given up some serious yards through the air, more than 200 yards against Weber State, more than 200 yards again 3 weeks ago in the semifinals. Offensively, North Dakota State, two things. Find a way to run the ball. I think Easton Stick will carry the ball more than he has during the regular season. It's the last game of the year. Injuries, not a problem. He's a very, very good runner. Can they convert in the red zone? Okay, this is a type of game where field goals aren't going to do it. I think if they can run it and they convert when they're in the red zone, they in my eyes, will probably be a small favorite.
And both teams definitely want to stay out of third and long with that pass rush. Quint, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. That's cool to hear what Quint Kucinich has to say. He'll be on the call on ESPN2 here in just about a half an hour. Let's turn to another gentleman who will be on the call for the Dukes Radio Network. It is Ryan Gellner standing by. Ryan?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Dave Thomas has been calling play-by-play for JMU for 3 years. And, Dave, you look at this football game, and it is all about the defenses. Let's get your take from the JMU side on what the difference makers are in this football game.
Well, I think it starts with the defensive coordinators, because they're both very good. Put their players in the right position. But I think it's just simply these guys understanding what the scheme is. And now they know each other so well because they've had 3 weeks. And like last year, they had a week. So they really understand each other. Brandon Herford's going to be a big guy up front as a linebacker for the Dukes. Kyrie Hawkins at a linebacker. And then Andrew Anker, who was up for the Canada Award, of course, this year, is a big guy as well at defensive end. So he's a guy that could be a playmaker.
The Dukes have taken a little bit of what NDSU has owned the last couple of years. You saw them come in here last year, win a national championship. This year you see them come back. Any differences in the way that they've approached this game now having a year in? Is there a confidence factor on your side that you've noticeably noticed?
This team is the same as they were week 2 because they approach every game, whether it's week 1, week 8, as the most important game of the year because it's the only game they play in that week. That's their philosophy. It sounds like coach speak, but honestly, that's truly the way it is. So no difference. They're confident, but they understand what's ahead of them, what they're going to have to do to get the win.
As you call this game later this afternoon, JMU will win because of, what are the big factors? Because of, that's why JMU can win this football game.
Able to get the ground game going at least somewhat, some success on the ground, and timely opportunities taken advantage of through the passing game, and probably forcing a turnover or two.
Which is exactly what they'd say on the NDSU side. Run the ball, take some advantages, and do that. Guys, much more from the pregame lot. We've got this thing covered inside and out. More on the pregame show as we get ready for North Dakota State and James Madison.
Get your horns out! Welcome to the Farmers Union Insurance Road to Frisco Bison Football pregame show.
Welcome back out to Frisco, Texas. We're live here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show. A familiar face joining us, if nothing else, a familiar voice. Ahmad Brooks joining us from ESPN. Thanks so much for joining us. You live just around the corner.
Listen, there was no way I was going to be 3 hours away from this game between the Dukes and the Bison and not show up. I brought my girlfriend up. We came up. I wanted to be here. I think this is going to be a fantastic football game. I love the North Dakota State football culture. As y'all know, I've bragged about it. Even got on air a few years ago and said y'all beat my Longhorns, and heard about that all the way back to Austin. But I'm just happy to be here, and always the Bison love is always something that draws you in.
Yeah, I know Anish and yourself. You guys are still a broadcast crew, and we think very highly of Anish Shroff back in Fargo as well. You guys got to do a few bowl games. You got off the FCS beat. I know you're probably a little disappointed in that. What's it going to be like to watch this game and not be working it?
Well, I'm glad that I can experience the culture now. I mean, really, as a guy who, and we were talking about it a little bit, but as a guy who played at Texas, cover a lot of high-profile programs, some of the top in the country, there's nothing like the energy that you get around here. So it's really about the people, the passion that they have for football. As y'all know, y'all cover it close and personal. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I finally get a chance to be an adult. Hopefully I can find me one of these tailgates that'll let me come in and have
I don't think you'll have a problem with
some
that.
food and a few beverages. You know, that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem with that. Well, a day in and a day out every week of the football season, you're preparing for a different team. Your job's way harder. We get to hone in on Bison football and concentrate our efforts on them. You're in and out of other teams every week. Have you found yourself, though, checking the scores for the Bison games, seeing how they're doing every week still?
I have an alert on my phone, you know, and I hate to say this, but I mean, really, if it were 2018 and I were being recruited again, and, you know, I don't think University of Texas would want a 5'8", 150-pound dripping wet quarterback. So I'd probably be a Bison. If I came back again, I'd wear green and gold. It's just, I mean, pardon me, green
That's
and
cool to hear.
No, I mean that. It's just, it's that impactful. So yeah, I really do. I admire this program from afar. I have alerts on my phone. I'm a big fan of Easton Stick. I love his demeanor. Still can't believe that he won those games leading up to the championship 2 years ago and then just made way for Carson the way that he did, despite Carson being great. It's just the character.
Yeah.
The ability to be able to do that and compete at a high level and to take your team to a championship and then do that. I've been a fan of his since covering the games, and I'll say it, I'm not a secret Bison fan, I'm a Bison fan. So definitely support this program.
So what do you think today? James Madison, North Dakota State. You know these two programs, you watch them well. Who do you like, why?
I think it's a 12-round bout, but I think at the end of the day, when you start talking about a 12-round bout, you look at the Dukes, they come in with a highly effective secondary that can really suffocate teams on the edge, which allows teams to put more numbers in the box. The question will be, can they handle the power and the brute force that this Bison offense brings to you? I mean, it's aggressive, it's in your face, it's assertive. They make no assumptions about what they're going to do. They're running right down your hill with lead, power. Can they handle that? I believe if North Dakota State comes out and gets on them early in the first two drives and they've ate up a quarter and a half, this game's over. Because it's just one of those kind of, when it caves in on you like that and the Bison are on top of you, it's really hard to fight back because of the way they play ball. I think if the Dukes come out and they establish an early lead like they did in last year's game that I was able to see, I think it's going to be hard for the Bison to gain traction. However, I'm looking for this to be one of the best games in not just in FCS, but in college football all this year. I think it's two evenly matched teams that are going to be fighting for a title today.
It'll certainly be a lot of fun. We really appreciate you
all on
joining
this
us.
side.
So much fun. We're going to pitch it back into the studio. Alex Egan has more.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Cool to see Ahmad Brooks there. That's awesome. We're going to take a look at who is in and who is out today for both squads in just a moment. First, we're going to go to Ryan Gellner standing by with Dr. Bruce Pyatt with our Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Report.
Our Sanford Health Update with Dr. Bruce Pyatt. It has been some time off, but that's a good thing for players that are trying to get back from little nicks and bruises.
Oh, it's been a great thing. I mean, you just imagine how we feel some days after just a little workout. Think about having played, the last 11, 12 weeks. I think we've played 8 or 9 in a row. It's really an opportunity for them to recover a little bit.
Are there things they can do in the off time when there is no Saturday games for a couple of weeks that they can't do during the regular season beyond just rest?
A couple things they can do, it gives them a little bit of an opportunity to really work on some of the weight strengthening type things that they haven't been able to do, so they can really focus more on specific rehab type things that we need them to do. But really the biggest thing is the rest and the lack of taking new injuries at that point. It probably helps them the most.
We'll see if that pays off during this football game. Bruce, thanks for all help throughout the year and all your insight. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a great year, and hopefully we do this again next year.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. Let's take a look at the Bison injuries. Who is in, who is out? Levi Jordheim returns to the Bison lineup after getting hurt in early November with a knee injury. James Hendricks, he's got an arm or a hand injury, but he is in a cast and he should be available today. This is what we know today. Lance Dunn, the running back, and corners Jalen Allison and Jalen Wimbush are in. That's according to our sources. So all those guys will be in. That is some good news there. Running back Ty Brooks is out. Let's go and take a look at the Dukes. Tight end Jonathan Kloosterman, you remember him from last year, and wideout John Miller are expected to play. Defensive back Curtis Oliver will be a game-time decision. Right now, we go back out to Frisco, and we check in with Ryan Gellner, who has today's keys to the game. Ryan.
Thank you, Alex. It is time for our 3 keys to this football game. And, guys, let's get right into this thing as we get closer now to the football game. And number 1 for North Dakota State is run the football. NDSU feels if they're going to have success, like always, Brian, they need to run the football.
And I think do it in a lot of unique ways, not just line up in 22 personnel and run power. I think we're going to see a lot of Easton Stick in the running game today because he is like a running back there, and you can't really account for the extra blocker all the time. Grind, grind, grind. Like Ahmad Brooks said just a moment ago, that's going to be huge.
Lance Dunn has gone from a guy that we didn't know if he was going to play this year to a guy that we're hearing now might have a pretty big role in this football game.
That would be absolutely awesome. But the other thing I think with the running game is it run to what? Set up the pass. The Bison have a couple of things they really think if they can get some tight ends or slot guys on number 44. Look for number 44. He's the strong safety. His last name's Jordan. He's the guy they want to pick on, and the Bison receivers really have to win the 50-50 balls because the defensive backs are good. They will be challenged.
Our second key to today's game is first down success. You might have heard of third down success, but North Dakota State needs 3, 4, 5 yards on first down. If they're doing that, they got a pretty good shot to win this game.
If the Bison are in 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 consistently, advantage North Dakota State. 3rd and 7 plus, advantage JMU. I think the receivers will have a tough time getting separation in 3rd and long.
Yeah, contested catches. That's what they have to do.
And our third one is special teams because everybody's talking about the defense and the offense. This thing might be won on special teams. Both teams, nothing special on special teams, but if somebody can make a play, either punting the football or receiving the football, running it down the field, you got a shot.
If it's as tight as we think in this game, every possession's going to matter. And if you have an opportunity with 3 points on a field goal attempt, you got to convert those opportunities, and you got to make sure that you're sound in your return game on both ends because long returns, field position, going to be very important.
Yeah, it certainly is. Those are our 3 keys to the football game, brought to you by Nodak Insurance. And this is going to be a good football game.
There is no reason it shouldn't be.
I mean, you got 2 outstanding defenses, and they are working hard at this. The team has been working hard all week long. In fact, they've been working hard for 3 weeks now, all weeks long. And I had a chance to catch up with Chris Klieman before today's football game to talk about, well, what the Bison are going to do in this one. Chris, still lots of big questions on injury situations, but you're going to let this thing go all the way up until kickoff.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to go through pregame and see what guys can go, and then obviously talk to our medical staff, and they'll make the final call on a number of guys.
You've been waiting for this football game, some would say for a year and change now, but really the last 3 weeks you have focused on JMU, and I'm assuming everything that you see comes up. It's a pretty good football team, not a lot of holes.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have any weaknesses. You know, defensively they're good at all 3 levels, and then offensively you have an experienced quarterback and an offensive line that plays physical style of run game, and they have a number of explosive athletes. You're right. It's going to be a 4-quarter great game.
I know we talked earlier in the week that you want to be able to run the football, and North Dakota State football has been built on that, but running the football today going to be pretty important.
It really is. We have to be able to run the football, and people that watch us, it could be perimeter run, it could be our power run, it could be Easton running the football. We're going to try everything we can to try to dent that defensive unit that's so good so that we can find some ways to get in maybe 2nd and medium and 3rd and short. We have to avoid 3rd and long.
Game plan is ready to go. You guys are ready to go. Give us the attitude of the players right now. Is it very business-like? Are they relaxed, loose? What's going on?
I think they're pretty relaxed and they're pretty focused. This is a veteran group of guys. A number of guys have played in national championship games. Most of our roster's been here, whether they were in the sidelines or in the bleachers. Didn't matter. They've been to this type of atmosphere. So I know our guys are really focused, and we're going to have a great football game today.
National Championship Day. Good luck.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
It is laser focus for the Bison football team, and the fans have now made their way into the stadium. Game time less than 15 minutes away. We'll take you right up until kickoff.
Welcome back into our Fargo studios. Just over 10 minutes until we send you off to ESPN2 for kickoff between North Dakota State and James Madison. Our Coors Light countdown clock, 10 minutes right now. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that'll be going for both teams today. With our North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback comparison, we take a look at the Bison starter, Easton Stick, starting his first national championship game for the Herd. 2,300 passing yards on the year, completion percentage of just over 62%, 27 touchdowns, including 10 in the FCS playoffs. Those are passing touchdowns. He's got 628 rush yards. We've been hearing from the guys all day. We think rushing will be a big component of his game today. 12 rushing touchdowns on the year. Let's take a look at the signal caller for the Dukes. He is Brian Shore. You might remember him from last year. 3,000 passing yards. He's got a completion percentage of just over 66.5%, 26 touchdowns to 12 picks. He's got 300 rush yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. Those are your North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback comparison. Let's take a look now at our Bobcat heavy lifting report, and I've gone with redshirt freshman linebacker Jabril Cox. I've got a few things that I say in here. Avoid the bright lights. He is just a redshirt freshman after all. Making his first trip down to Frisco, his true freshman year. The Bison didn't make it down there, so this is his first trip down to Toyota Stadium. Say there's got to be a balance of pressure and coverage. The Bison defense will have to deal with getting to Brian Shore back there in the backfield and making sure that Brian Shore doesn't have all day to pick out his receivers. And if he does, you got to be able to get back. And that's why we're talking Shore. As Brian Shore goes, so do the James Madison Dukes. Let's go back out to Frisco. Our crew standing by. Guys, who do you think needs to be an impact player for the Bison today?
You know, Alex, I think you bring up a really good point in Jabril Cox. There always is that factor of the young guy, but, you know, so many times we've seen the young guy have a huge day. You'll think back to R.J. Urzendowski and his standout performance his freshman year.
And for me, Captain Obvious, it's Easton Stick. But when Easton Stick has struggled the last couple of years, it's been when NDSU hasn't been able to run the football. If they can run the football, Easton Stick is fine. If JMU can stop NDSU's run, I want to see Easton come up with a pretty big game.
I'm excited to see the two corners, Josh Hayes and Marquise Bridges, see if they're up for the challenge. You're talking about a true freshman that could be making some significant impacts today and play some significant snaps. We'll see if the Jalens are healthy, but to me, that's exciting to see how those guys respond.
I had a real fun conversation with Coach Klanderman from the Bison defense earlier this week, and a couple of the things that Joe was talking about is what the main thing is what they saw from the Bison defense last year. He said was not us. He said we have our dudes now.
Yeah.
And so he hopes that the JMU offense watched last year's game a lot, because we all know who didn't play. They're playing this week despite the young corners.
Yeah, I've said it a couple times now, and if you haven't seen any of our broadcasts all week, I'm going to remind you, Nate Tangway is ready to rip someone's jugular out. I know that sounds violent, but he is amped up for this game, and he wants to be out there.
And that offensive line is very young in the middle, and I think that's where NDSU has the experience over JMU.
They've given up 32 sacks this year. Through the middle, go get them.
Yeah, remember Steidl got hurt in the first quarter last week, so last year he didn't play either. So both those guys are back in the middle.
Yeah, you know, somebody I'm excited to see stand out a little bit today is Desmond Kane. Transfer from Illinois, came in as a wide receiver. I was at practice last week though. making the move to cornerback. We learned he's returning to cornerback, though, because he's played a little bit there.
Played his high school football as a cornerback, was recruited to Illinois as a corner, and then switched to the offensive side of the football. We all thought he was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's a natural corner. We just don't know how long he has been at corner.
Put your athletes, no matter where they are, in a
Yep, on the
position
outside.
of need. That's what FCS football is. You got to put guys where you are. Marquise Bridges was a former wide receiver. You got to do what you got to do at this point in the year to make sure you have depth.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an exciting game. We've got a little bit more to talk about here. You can see behind us the tailgate lot is starting to clear out. That means we're getting closer and closer to kickoff here in Frisco, Texas. We've got more on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Road to Frisco Bison Football Pregame Show.
All right, welcome back into our Fargo studios. We'll get you back out to Frisco. We'll send you to ESPN2 for the game between the Bison and the Dukes. Let's get the final thoughts from our crew down there in the tailgate lot at Toyota Stadium. Guys?
Thanks so much, Alex. Yeah, you know, I'm really excited to see Easton Stick make a difference. I was thinking long and hard about it. I think that's what I want to see. Easton Stick, and I want to see him run the ball and be effective with that.
Yeah, I want to see North Dakota State survive whatever JMU throws at them, because JMU, their secondary, has 31 interceptions this year. If it all goes to heck for NDSU early, I want to see them survive and move on.
I want to see the defensive line just grind down that, that front from JMU, and I think they will. They got a lot of different bodies. I think in the third quarter, you're going to see a difference today.
Well, as we're getting close to the flyover, I believe I'm just confident in the way the Bison defense, the follow-up on what Brian was talking about. I love the fact that Nick DeLuca is going to be playing. He's got Jabril Cox going in there. It's the guys that the Bison have on defense that makes me confident, despite how good this team's offense is.
And Levi Jordan back, too. That helps.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps.
Here comes the big bomber.
Showing you the big bomber flying over here for the flyover as kickoff is just around the corner. You guys, it's been a really fun season. It's been spectacular to see. Nothing like a flyover in an outdoor stadium to make it feel like championship football, huh?
No idea what you just said, but that is a very loud plane flying by. Yeah, this is an experience. This is fun. Those of you watching all season long, wish you could be here.
Yeah.
It has been a blast. Wish you could take part in this.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody tuning in all year long. Appreciate all the hard work each and every one of you guys do as well. Thanks so much for a spectacular year. We'll send it back to the last member of our team, poor Alex, back in studio.
Yeah, holding down the fort here, guys. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has spent some time and effort on this show all season long. We want to thank you for tuning in as well. ESPN2, it's the Bison and the Dukes for the FCS National Championship.
Road to Frisco Bison Football Pregame Show.